Hey everyone, how you doing? This is Amon Green, Green Bay Packers all-time leading rusher, and you're watching Packers Total Access Live, your daily source for Packer content. Go Pack, go!
What's up, gang? Welcome into Packers Total Access. My name is Clayton. You can check us out on Packernet.com. Find me on Twitter at Packers_access. You can email us, PackersTotalAccess@gmail.com. You can text us 865-658-5824. Join alongside Tim, live in Green Bay, here to talk some Green Bay Packers as we're getting ready for the Packers-Vikings matchup tomorrow afternoon. 3:25 kickoff in Minneapolis as the Packers go up there and try to get a huge win against those tough, pesky, one of the strongest teams in the league this year, Minnesota Vikings. Before we dive into everything, let's give a quick shout out to our sponsors this evening, and that is the good folks over at Ticket King, the official ticket provider of Packer Fan Total Access Live. Wisconsin-based since '92, specializing in Packers tickets. They are Wisconsin's largest ticket source with offices next to Lambeau and in Milwaukee. Click on the link in the video description that'll send you to their website, theticketking.com. You can register there as a customer. Go ahead and start shopping for your Packers tickets. Again, that's Ticket King, the official ticket provider of Packer Fan Total Access Live. All right, now Tim dealing with a little issue over here. We got a little nosebleed tonight as Green Bay.
I knew you were going to put me on blast. I'm good.
I think it was something different. I think that I think his wife told him to shut up, and he thought she said stand up, and she popped him right there in that nose.
No, I promise you, she didn't give me a nosebleed.
I
think it's just that crazy weather we're getting. You know, we had like below zero a few days ago, and now we're in the 40s and rain and snow and dry and cold, and you blow your nose 100 times, you're bound to get a nosebleed, right, Clay?
Yeah, we hit 67 today, man. It was feeling nice down. We were in shorts, and but again, if anybody knows about being a battered husband, it's this guy right here. I promise you. Okay, so let's just be honest about it. We'll just change the subject here. Yeah, respect oranges. Blink twice, Tim. Please blink twice
if you need help.
All right, man. Well, we got a lot to talk about here. It's the Cincinnati
look at my wife. A little ice cold water gets that blood right out.
I love it. Oh. Yeah, we had a huge game come down to the wire there with the Bengals and the Broncos. Real fun game to watch. Boy, what a botched.
I missed the end. What happened? I just saw overtime.
So the Bengals basically got like 9 lives and had a chance to come back down and win it, and they did. They missed the field goal at the end and still came back in overtime to win it. But, man, Rolodex in full effect, Tim, there at the end, like a minute 10 left. Denver had 1 timeout left. They decide to run a quarterback sneak and score the touchdown rather than run the clock down, kick the field goal.
Oh, dummies.
So Denver goes right down the field, scores, sends it to overtime. So, again, They looked up. They looked up big time. Cincinnati still gets the win, but, man, it was just an absolute crap show for sure. So, all right, man, let's just kind of take a walk around Twitter real quick. Then we're going to get into some NFL Pro insights. Not going to be a long show tonight, guys. We're going to keep it short and sweet. There will be no morning show tomorrow because we're going to be doing a pregame show around – what time did we say, Tim? Do you remember what time we said?
We got 3:25 kickoff, right? I think
2 p.m. Central, right?
2 Central, yeah.
So we'll go live for the pregame show at 2 Central. We'll be bringing you all the actives, inactives, all that good stuff. Giving you some live shots there in Minneapolis at US Bank Stadium. Just getting you set up to kickoff. About 20 minutes before kickoff, we'll go off the air so everybody can go get them a daddy soda, get settled in, and get ready to watch the game, or in my case, chart the game. And in Tim's case, I'm sure he'll be cussing a little bit throughout the day too, just like I do. So I'm sure the wife, if she's like Mandy, she just okay. There's going to be bad words said on Sundays.
She's heard it all.
Yeah,
she's heard it all. Hopefully not, though. Hopefully we don't. Hopefully we have a great performance, and it's a lot of cheering.
Yeah, definitely. I think it'll be a great game, man. I really, really do, for sure. And we are going to be doing a giveaway tomorrow. Okay, so if
Dorsey Levens jersey, right?
Yeah, autographed. Away white Dorsey Levens jersey. It's from pristineauctions.com. Beckett did everything there. It's going to have a certificate of authenticity, all that good stuff. So if you want to make sure you're in that drawing, okay, we're going to put everybody's name on the wheel who are YouTube members and who are members of our Patreon group over there, the PTA Posse on Patreon. You just go to patreon.com/Packer Fan Total Access, or scan the QR code that we have. I'm sure Tim's getting ready to pop up here on the screen for us. If you scan that QR code, we'll leave it up for a little bit, Tim, so they'll have a chance to actually scan it. You scan that QR code, it'll send you to the same place. It should anyway. Last time we checked, it did. But if it doesn't, go to patreon.com Packer Fan Total Access. As long as you're a member of one of those 3 tiers, or you are a member here on YouTube, if you're more comfortable with that, that'll get you entered into the giveaway tomorrow. We're going to spin that wheel tomorrow with everybody's name on it. Whoever it lands on will get the autographed Dorsey Levens jersey. Just make sure you're either a member on YouTube or a member of our Patreon group by midnight tonight, okay? Midnight Eastern time tonight. That's the cutoff for that. So, again, thanks to everyone who is supporting the channel in that regard. It should be a good giveaway. Dorsey Levens, one of those unsung heroes in the 90s, no doubt about it, man.
For sure.
All right, let's take a walk around Twitter here, man. Dara, I think I'm trying to remember, how do you pronounce? Is it Dara Carragher? Am I thinking right?
Yeah, Dara, I think it is Dara Carragher.
Like somebody corrected me and said Dara. If we're messing it up, I apologize. One of the better followers on Twitter, though. He is awesome. He's right up there with Jacob Morley. Make sure you go check out his article here at 24sports.com. You can find him on Twitter at Dara Carragher. And he said Jordan Love is having the single best season of avoiding sacks in recorded NFL history. I want to repeat that. Jordan Love is having the single best season of avoiding sacks in recorded NFL history. Only 7.7% of pressures on the Packers QB result in a sack. This has not been done before. It may never be done ever, and he does a great job with that article. So go give him some love, retweet that, click on the article, support him. Is, like I said, a great write-up. Tim, you see it with Jordan. You know, we get frustrated. We all do, seeing the throws off the back foot and this and that, but there is a positive to it too. This guy is obviously doing something historical, avoiding sacks. And we know the offensive line play is a big part of that, probably the bigger part of that. But you cannot negate the fact that this is something that has not been done before, man. That's a huge asset to have to live play for another down, man.
Yeah, absolutely. And it bails out your O-line too. You know, a lot of times your O-line can only hold so long. Even the best O-lines out there in the business, you know, you can only maintain that protection for so long. And if you're waiting for guys to get open or you're working through your reads, if you can step up and around and be slippery and evade, extend the pocket, roll right, roll left, hell, like you said, roll backwards, throw off your back foot. Those are all attributes that, really it can. And I don't mean bail your O-line out in the sense like they did something wrong, but I mean, you're picking up your O-line just like they're watching your back out there. And it also keeps you healthy. You know, we had that scare early this year in the season, you know, it was tough in the Brazil game, obviously with the knee. But I think once Jordan got healthy, 100%, he's been really evasive. And it's not always a scramble. It doesn't necessarily mean you have to tuck it and run and get out of there. It's just the way of extending that pocket, man. And like you said, avoiding the sacks. It's awesome.
Yeah, definitely. And again, the offensive line, like Tim said, you're not knocking the offensive line in this situation. They are one of the better pass blocking O-lines in the league. Matter of fact, I know they're top 5. They may be considered the best pass blocking offensive line. Now, according to PFF, they suck at run blocking, which is wild to think about, seeing that we have 2 top 10 graded running backs. But, you know, it is what it is. Until they show how the sausage is made, there's no way we can.
There's no way to really know, right? Yeah,
exactly. It's kind of like one of those, I trust my sources, right? Well, who are your sources? I'm not revealing my, oh, okay, got it. So there's no chance that your sources are, you made it up, maybe? Just saying. So as Donald Rump says in the chat, Coach Lynn's in the room. Everybody sit up straight. All right, what up, Coach Lynn? Appreciate you swinging through tonight, sir. And yeah, Donald pointed out PFF will still give us bad O-line grades. In running game, there's no doubt about it, man. No doubt about it.
Sure.
So, all right, let's see what else we got here on the old social media. Tim, I'm going to need a screen grab. Matter of fact, I'll throw it up. I'm already in here. Bang. Let's just let's hit them with a little Tupac LaFleur tonight. So this was on what's it called? First Things First on Fox. Okay, this audio came from them, and this is, I'm trying to think of his name. I think it's Chris Broussard. Is how you say his name.
Yes.
Tim, all year long we have heard people talk about how this Bears team is just going to be, man, there's never been a quarterback that's been surrounded by as much talent as Caleb Williams, and he's a generational talent. This could be, we read an article or a tweet the other day where a guy had an article saying Caleb Williams may very well win MVP as a rookie, right? And then, exactly. Nick Wright, who many people call him Nick Wrong for obvious reasons, on this same show went on, I think it was preseason, and said that he had the Bears to win the Super Bowl with Caleb Williams at the helm. All right. So, again, I apologize for the volume being down so much. There's nothing we can do about it. You'll have to crank your TV, crank your phones up as loud as you can. I will fix it on the podcast so you guys won't even recognize it. But here is Chris Broussard absolutely roasting the national media for the way that they just stood on that hill for Caleb Williams, and in some senses, they continue to do that. Here we go.
I am the ambassador of impartiality.
Yes.
So I have to do this. I don't want to, but I have to. Last week, I had to sit here and listen to Brock Purdy get demolished.
Oh, no.
For throwing for 30 more yards than Caleb and Geno combined last night. And 2 more touchdowns than them combined. And what Nick Wright has now made the worst quarterback era in history. Marching down the field
throwing a pick
with
to lose
a
the game.
chance to win, and you throw a pick.
Yeah.
That's what Caleb did.
Yeah.
And then you come on here and compare him favorably to Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, and Joe Burrow?
I don't.
It's worse than I
That was
thought.
Brett Favre doing it.
Why?
Nick, this is delusional.
Oh.
It's a lot on Caleb Williams.
Okay.
Let's not get this thing twisted. You picked them to win the Super
No,
Bowl
I
or
didn't.
reach the Super Bowl
Yeah,
for a reason.
Yeah.
Because you and so many others said what? No number 1 pick has ever been in a better situation than Caleb Williams.
Heard it from a fan right here.
No, I mean, and you weren't
I
alone.
might have misjudged
But you know what? You didn't misjudge it.
I think I did.
Because he does have a Pro Bowl running back in DeAndre Swift. He does have a Pro Bowl receiver they added for him in Keenan Allen, and a great number 2 in DJ Moore.
Here's the
and
guy.
Roma Dunze might be a superstar one day.
And the defense.
And the defense
The
is
defense-
the top 10 defense. They held him to freaking 6 points. I mean, this is on the lion share is on Caleb Williams. Now look, the offensive line is falling apart. But last year's Houston's offensive line was falling apart,
And how's
C.J. Stroud managed to be pretty good.
What about this year? What about Caleb
Well, they
and
still gonna
CJ
make
this
the
year?
playoffs.
Yeah, because
All right, and he doesn't have his receiving core is decimated. All right, so you can't go there.
I mean, Nico
All right.
Collins would be the best receiver on either team. And Nico Collins missed
The
4.
other 2 guys are hurt.
Yeah, well,
Caleb's
How
got
dare
3.
you.
Let's not make excuses for the young
I'm not
man.
making excuses.
You
I'm saying
are. His coach now the coaching situation is a mess.
disaster.
But they were 4-2 at one point,
Yeah.
despite Caleb playing poorly. Because that defense is legit. It was a great defense at the end of last year. It's still top 10. 10 times. 10 times. He has failed to score 20 points. This is, and I'm not writing him off as a potential star down the road, but this season, he has been the main problem.
He's been
with
the main.
Yes.
So that I thoroughly disagree with. What?
Edit
Okay.
D's. How about that?
All right, so man, and I'm going to get it off the screen there, but I just want to say, my goodness, did he cook? And we shared that on Twitter, and it's absolutely blown up. Matter of fact, let me pause that real quick. It's up to that particular tweet where I just shared it and said, "Let him cook." Finally, somebody in the media is calling out these Chicago Bears apologists. 106,000 views as of right now. Packers Twitter has eat it up, man. It's hilarious.
I love it.
And everything he said there, Tim, sometimes you hear an argument and you go, he's stretching that a bit. Every bit of that was fact. Every single bit of it. And again, top 10 defense, legit top 10 defense,
Yep.
right? And then he goes down in a game where they only scored 6 points and throws an interception on the final drive after they completely screwed the pooch with the clock management. It's just wild. It's absolutely wild. But again, it gave me faith in national sports media once again, even just a little bit, that someone was willing to step and go, no. You guys have been running your mouth all year.
Yep.
And every damn one of you have been wrong. But
Watch him lose his job now because he told the truth. And Chris Broussard's an OG, man. He's been around. He's well over 20 years, I believe.
Is that right?
Doing his thing between the networks. But I love it. If you see it, you got to say it, right, Clayton? Like we always say.
Absolutely.
And it's refreshing to see someone in the mainstream, really telling the truth for a change. It is possible. Holy cow.
Yeah. And it was just wild. If you go watch the tweet, watch the video yourself, to see Nick Wright, it's like every time the guy says something else, you can see Nick slump a little bit more, like, yeah, he's right about all this. Now, he'll never admit that, obviously, because that's kind of Nick Wright's MO. He's a Skip Bayless wannabe, in my opinion, is really what it kind of feels like. But nonetheless, I don't want to get in here and roast people too hard. It's just funny that I'm glad
someone. Which one is he again? Is he the one who looks like a Harry Potter character?
He does. He's a strange looking. Listen, I'm a strange looking human being too, but I don't go around acting like I know.
I'm just trying to confirm who it was. I think I know who you're talking about now.
Yeah, somebody posted him one day without the filter. Let me tell you, thank God for the filter. You know what I'm saying? It was rough. But anyway, let's move. Allegedly, we'll always say allegedly.
Allegedly, yes.
Yeah, as if anybody watches this show, it sucks. So here's what it is. All right, PFF Green Bay Packers tweeted this out. Jayden Reed has a favorable slot matchup against the Vikings defense. Reed has recorded 605 receiving yards from the slot this season, second most in the NFL. The Minnesota defense ranks 28th in yards allowed to slot receivers, making this a favorable matchup for Reed. We kind of talked about the PFF grades suggest that their slot corner is pretty weak. Now, when you dive into Jayden Reed, many people look at Jayden Reed, Tim, like he's having a down year. Like, oh, what happened to Jayden Reed? Guy, he's a slot receiver. You don't expect Jayden Reed to be that guy that's going to have 1,400 yards receiving, right? This is going to be the MO for Jayden Reed. The jet sweeps and having somewhere between 600, 900, maybe 1,000 yards receiving a year. That's going to be that range that he's in. And strategically being able to attack some of these defenses that sleep on trip sets and working him out of the slot on those crossers. And I would venture to say, I mean, I feel comfortable saying, Tim, that probably 80% of his yardage came on crossers, on climb routes, right? Yep. So this is something to watch for, man. We kind of talked about it a little bit with their slot defender, but maybe this is how Jordan Love has that big day that many people are saying he needs to have in Minneapolis for the Packers to get to win them all.
Yeah, absolutely. And using Bird in that fashion, just keep doing it. Play the hot hand. If it's not broke, don't fix it. And we know how to use him as a weapon. Matt LaFleur is a master of getting the best out of these guys and putting them in a position. I mean, you talk about the jet sweeps. We've seen Bo Melton take jet sweeps, Christian Watson. We've seen Jayden Reed take jet sweeps. I'm surprised we haven't seen Tucker Kraft get one. We might see that at some point. But using Reed on like you said, the like the high-low concept or, the crossers and letting him get that ball in a little bit of space. He's so good at creating separation, and then he's just off to the races, And Jordan's really good at those intermediate kind of throws. We talk about, some of these deep shots that we see. We know Jaire Reed down there somewhere kind of play. Those are fun to watch, but I think it's really, Jordan's at his best when he's able to get through his reads and then fire that kind of intermediate level pass and let guys like Jayden Reed turn it into a, explosive play of, 30 yards or more or something. It's pretty awesome.
Definitely. So again, Jayden Reed, man, somebody to watch out for tomorrow as the matchup's pretty favorable for him. And, the big headline today and really all week, Tim, has been the Jaire talk. Greg Rice asked, why is the internet blowing up about Ja? Did any news come out? He isn't playing, right? And again, it's a big talking point. I've seen a lot of podcasts, a lot of clickbait titles with podcasts too.
Oh, yeah.
That really struck me as odd, to be honest with you. There was one that in particular, and I won't say the name, but it was like, what's going on with Ja? And then the guy did the podcast. It made it sound like, there's something wrong with Jaire in this specific situation, right? And then he ended up, the whole show was like, everybody's overreacting with Jaire. It's like, why did you use the title to say everyone's over? It's just weird. It's strange how people.
You're right. Clickbait.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. Exactly.
Engagement farming. That's all it is.
Yeah. Jen Wright says he's out for the game, Greg. And then Holmes says, Greg, the fan base is losing faith in his availability. That's all. The one thing I will add that I think really kind of struck things a little odd was Matt LaFleur's comment. Again, when they said, hey, is it something he's keeping him? He's paraphrasing, but he basically said, is it something Ja's keeping himself out, or y'all on the same page? And he just said the injury report will be out 3:00. Because like Tim said, Matt LaFleur's tired of talking about it, right? Yeah. But I can see how some people would hear that and go, hold up, are they not on the same page? If you're truly, digging for something there. So we got Jacob the Beard joining us now.
The Beard, coconut water power slam. There you go.
Let's go.
How do you know that? You shop at Aldi, Tim?
No, I know coconut water when I see it.
Yeah. All right.
Man,
how you doing tonight?
I'm good, man. Just got done watching that game. That was unexpectedly really, really good end to that. Well, depending on who you cheer for. Get into that game.
Dandy.
But yeah, I just happened to pop in, and if I could just make a comment on the cocoa water is not nasty, Greg. If I can make a comment on the Jaire thing, I'll be honest, I want to push back a lot on, like, we'll call it the people in the chat. Well, like we've talked about certain analysts that are definitely like Tim said, they're clickbaiting right now real hard.
We can refer to them as analysts too, but go ahead.
I was trying to make that. Yeah. Oh, geez. Here come the spammers. Tim, will you take care of that quick?
I got this.
They're gone.
And I'll admit that it is a little, if you take a step back and just look at the whole situation, obviously it's disconcerting that we don't have one of our best, most highest paid players playing the majority of the time when we need him. That's not the argument that we're having. We're having an argument as to whether or not they're saying the guy's never going to play again. They're saying that Matt LaFleur and him have some like untalked about hidden beef but don't mind the fact
evidence for though.
I was going to say, don't mind the fact that there's no actual evidence of that the team's actually playing really great, that they're really cohesive right now. I just think that, dude, and I hate to say this because I have been a diehard. My whole office is covered in Packer memorabilia that I've collected since I was 4 years old. It means a lot to me. But I am at the point where I am kind of getting fed up with certain segments of the Packer fandom because they're just miserable. And they're miserable just because they wake up and they're like, today I'm going to be miserable and I'm not going to be grateful for anything. And, certain segments, again, where I don't know if you guys talked about this in the last couple episodes, but like Matt LaFleur on the sidelines being like, what the is wrong with our fans? It's true though. I mean, what are you guys doing? Like,
and you have the grandstanders coming and go, oh, Matt, they're winning by 20 points. Let them have some fun. No, because if you let that happen when it's a blowout, then you can't be mad when it happens when it's a close game. You just can't. It's the same thing we always talk about. You let a dog piss on the rug for 6 months and I decide you're going to bust his ass one day. He's going to look at you like, what's the deal here, bro?
Yeah.
Like, and I get it. People are having fun, but it's the one thing. I repeat, the one thing that Coach LaFleur is like, guys, can we please not do this? And we're like 3 years into this being a problem.
Right.
Like,
At
some point you gotta. And I mean, wasn't the wave cool like back in '94? Like, can we do something different? You know what I mean?
Well, and it's
Tim,
just
am I being a get off my lawn guy or something here, man? Do you feel the same way?
You're not going to get an argument from me, man. You know how I feel about that. Get loud on defense and shut the hell up when we have the ball on offense. Like, what are we?
Simple,
especially
right?
at home. We're at home. It's called home field advantage. I
was just going to say, Tim, would you agree that like it's not unreasonable for Matt LaFleur, who's, if I'm not mistaken, was it now 5 out of the 6 years he's been at the helm that we're going to the playoffs? The guy knows what he's doing. Yep. We have a system in place, and possibly, it might just be important for the quarterback and for the offense to be focused while they're going on offense. I mean, call me crazy. I don't know.
No, I'm with you, dude. And Chris N says he was at the Saints game and he was so embarrassed when the wave started. I was embarrassed when when the camera caught Matt LaFleur getting mad because I immediately knew Matt is right and he's going to get roasted.
Yep.
And it's just so crappy.
Look like the bad guy. Yep.
Yeah. So whoever's running the camera, I want his job. I'm just kidding. We don't want his job, right? And whoever this guy is,
this guy, man. This guy started the wave.
Yeah, I want him on the pod. I want this guy on the pod. I want to get him on the pod and ask who his personal trainer is. That's what I need to know. All right. So, what should end up being Chris N, and we didn't know it. Chris N's like, oh, that's me. So, but Chris, we're with you there, man. Completely on board with that. AFAM says Matt needs to prove he can coach in the big game. Man,
AFAM, I hate that. Bro. I'm sorry. I love you, AFAM, but I got in an argument with my little brother today. He literally, I called him and I was like, man, I'm really excited about tomorrow. I said, I think that for whatever reason, I've got a feeling that we could maybe boat race these guys. I just have that weird feeling. And again, I'm gonna knock on wood right there, and because I just jinxed it. And my brother, I love him to death, but he's always like this. And he was like, no, we haven't won a big game. And I went, what? We're having a statistically one of the best seasons that we've had in 100 years of football. And I'm not trying to it's my brother, so he knows we go back and forth about this all the time. We've always been kind of opposite. I've been more look beneath the situation kind of fan, and he's more of the, and he'll hate that I say this, but he's more of the clickbait ESPN fan where he reads into that. He's what's the guy's name? That's the stupid guy, the Bears fan that had to just eat all his words right now about how Caleb Williams is going to win the Super Bowl and all that.
Well, name one, Jacob.
something
Close
right.
your eyes and just point. You know,
You're probably talking about Adam Rank.
Nicholas Wright.
Nick Wright. Okay, that we just played that audio just a second.
You did? Where the one where he gets owned by the dude?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you. Because it just, and he sat there and he was like, well, no, I didn't act. No. It's like, yeah, you did, dude. You're on freaking film. It's 2024. We remember what you said just a short few weeks ago. And now everybody's trying to kind of like pepper it with like, well, we didn't think. No, you said he was the best number one quarterback prospect of all time. First, that has the best surrounding cast, and they absolutely poopy doopied in their bed. All right.
Oh, we're gonna give him some.
Thanks for keeping it PG-13, Jake. I appreciate that.
Gee, we're getting
so. Yeah, listen, with AFAM, man, I gotta respectfully disagree. Like, name the big game where he's crapped the bed, and I'm gonna need details because, like, if it's the Tampa Bay game. Was it Matt LaFleur's fault that we had a punt block for a touchdown? Like, come on, right? And Dallas last year, we go into Dallas, who was a 13-win team, into their stadium in the playoffs and kick the living hell out of them in the biggest game of Matt LaFleur's career, in my opinion. Going on the road, 1 year removed, after everyone, and I repeat, everyone said you don't have a snowball's chance in hell of winning without Aaron Rodgers. And he did it with a first-year starter in the youngest roster. So he hasn't won the Super Bowl. You're exactly right. He hasn't made it to the Super Bowl. That's the next step. Can I be real with you guys right now? And I know Tim disagrees. Jacob, you probably disagree. I'm looking at this season. I don't think the Packers are going to win the Super Bowl or make it to the Super Bowl. I don't think we're there yet. I feel like we're this close. Now, can they get hot and do it? Absolutely they can. But I'm not going to sit here and kid myself into thinking if Matt LaFleur and the Packers get beat, whether it's the first round, the second round, or the NFC Championship in the playoffs, that all of a sudden, no, he can't win the big one. It's the youngest roster in the league. Like
2 years in a row.
Yeah, 2 years in a row. So there's going to come time now. The window's open. Goody has already taken that next step. And what I mean by that is, like he said last year, you know, if you've got a championship team, you better have a championship kicker. What did he do? He pulled the trigger this year and got a championship kicker. Jacob, we talked about this on the early show. Brandon McManus is second in the league in field goal percentage. Second. Yep. So it's obvious Goody has taken these steps. What did he do? He went and got Xavier McKinney in free agency. He got Josh Jacobs in free agency. You're putting everything together. I still feel like there's just something missing. I hope I'm wrong. But again, it's all about expectations. And it's kind of what you were talking about with those fans. If your expectations are this team better win the Super Bowl or I'm going to be miserable, I can't get on board with that, man. I just can't.
Right.
When was the last time the youngest team in the National Football League won the Super Bowl? Yeah. I don't know if it's ever happened. So I don't know if that makes sense. And again, AFAM, I'm not trying to roast you. I'm just saying I could not disagree more. Doesn't mean I'm right and you're wrong. That's just the way I see it. So
no, I think what's cool about our community here is that if you're being fair to yourself, like we all call out shots and we're all wrong. You know what I mean? We've talked about so many different. That's the thing about calling out anything. That's what's going to happen when we're talking about things. But I think reading what's happened is
a winner. He is a winner.
He's the number one. He's the number one. It's just knowing how to respond to it. You remember how we had that conversation about? Remember how kickers was like such a no topic, and I was definitely talking about that. And I remember we talked about like, hey, we're not going to sign a guy off the street that's going to have a better percentage of what we're doing. And look what happens. Sometimes it does happen. Like freaky things happen. They just do. And you can't. Anybody that says they have the globe, the all-seeing eye, I can tell you exactly what's going to happen. It's like,
and then when it doesn't happen, they kick and scream.
Exactly. Or they call you this or that for this is why you had that opinion. It's like, no, dude, you were just wrong. You were wrong. And it's okay. Everybody's wrong. I'm wrong all the time. All the time.
All the time. I like what what was said here in the chat too. Ron Sample says AFAM's a Swiftie. He has Travis Kelce's number as a Tramp fan. So
I don't listen too much Taylor Swift.
Perfect drop, Tim. Look at that right there, man. All right, let's go back to the chat earlier. CJN says, I'm not worried about Jai not playing. Now, if he hits playoffs and he isn't there, then I will be questioning. I think that's a fair assessment. I do. Again, I don't think it's like a slam dunk. He's going to be 100% for the playoffs, seeing that it was a PCL. Everybody reacts different, right? We were basing it off of Puka Nakua's timeline, and like Tim pointed out, and he's exactly right, that doesn't necessarily mean it's by the book, the Bible, that, hey, it's going to be 6 weeks and he's back. It's just kind of a rough time frame, right? Yep. So, but I do agree with that with CJN. If he doesn't play in the playoffs and he didn't go on IR, I'm going to go, maybe there's something going on. I think it's a fair assessment. But let's see here.
Agree. I would agree. And maybe they're trying to keep it close to the chest because maybe someone I'm not going to say misdiagnosed, but misanalyzed the severity or whatever. And it was a mistake to not send him to IR. You know what I mean? And who knows what the situation is. I do personally believe that it's 100% injury related, and injuries suck. It happens. It takes some of the greatest players this game has ever seen have had their careers cut short because of injuries. And it doesn't mean that they don't have heart or they don't want to be there or that there's some kind of soap opera, dramatic behind the scenes crap happening. Right. No matter how bad you want it to be like that, I just don't think it's anything deeper than, Ja's clearly frustrated right now because he's hurt and he's not able to be on the field.
Well, and Tim, can I ask you?
Matt's frustrated because Matt's tired of being asked about, ask questions that he doesn't have the answer to. So that's just how I look at it,
I was going to ask Tim, do you think that also, Matt's frustrated, Ja's sick of talking about it. Clearly, it's like when anybody asks you anything more than 3 or 4 times, why you're making me frustrated while you're asking me what's wrong. You know what I mean? That sort of mentality kind of thing.
Yeah.
And also the fact, does anybody want to take a step back and say, okay, we've secured a probable playoff spot. Now I believe we're clinched, right? We're good to go.
We're in.
So going into this week and the last few weeks, people were worried, are we going to have to worry about whether or not we're going to clinch? But the probability was in like the 95%-ish, type range. So take a step back and then also realize that Carrington Valentine and Eric Stokes, for the first time ever in their history of the careers, are playing really good football. Maybe we should actually just let that slide. And it's not, to me, it takes more of a stretch to say, hey, Jaire and Matt have a secret undercover super beef that just created and just started. And everybody knows that, Jaire's never going to play here again ever in his career, over the fact that that the guys are playing really well and we don't need to force him back. If he does have a PCL tear, if he does have something like that, why would we rationally? Matt LaFleur would be a dumb coach.
Those people that make those comments, so that's hyperbolic comment. Ja may never play again. Who the hell are you? You don't know that. Stop it. But I'm definitely in agreements with the sentiment that, if he does, he's not playing tomorrow. If he doesn't play in week 18 and we don't see him in the playoffs, now we have to start scratching our heads and wonder what's really going on here.
Yeah.
Definitely. Ron Sample said we want to wrap up this Jaire talk quick here too. I'm tired of hearing about it. Tired of talking about it.
Things could be a lot worse. I could be a Bears fan.
Exactly, Ja. Very well said. Ron Sample says Matt Schneidman asked Ja if he wanted to talk, and he wouldn't even look at him and said no. Ja is usually really friendly with him. Doesn't mean anything other than everyone is frustrated. I think that's fair. Again, he's frustrated about not being able to play, no doubt. Thon Tron says the Packers are like the Lions were last year. If they don't make it to the Super Bowl this year, they will next year. Again, man, they're built for next year to kind of, as it sits right now, $62 million in cap space next year. Now, you're going to sign a few players for the future and probably push some of that money up into the current year. So that's going to be much lower, than the $62 million. But I feel comfortable saying it's probably going to be somewhere settled in at about the 35 or 40 million range, depending on how all the contracts are structured currently. We'll look at that when we get to the offseason. So you're probably going to have a little bit of room to go get a piece or two if you need to, right? But honestly, you may not need to. You may just look to load up in the draft and be in an even better salary cap situation and let these players emerge and kind of mature so you're not, signing progress stoppers as opposed to players who can contribute right away. Coach Lynn says injuries suck. Ask Sterling Sharp. Very well said there.
No
Very
true.
well. I'll tell you what doesn't suck, though, boys. We've been talking about Jayden Reed. Check this out. Ben Houselog, I hope that's I'm saying that right. It's at Ben Likes Sports, tweeted this out. DJ Moore for the Chicago Bears, 89 receptions, 880 yards, 5 touchdowns, 4 years, $110 million contract. Jayden Reed, 52 receptions, 803 yards, 6 touchdowns, 4 years, $7.1 million. He said, see how silly this logic is?
Let polls cook, man.
I mean, seriously, dude.
Let them cook, man.
This is why you want to load up on draft picks, because if you hit on one, boy, oh boy, ever since they restructured the CBA to where now you've got the rookie contract slotted as opposed to you've got to negotiate with that rookie, boy. This same thing with Tucker Kraft, Tim. We talked about this a couple nights ago, man. Tucker Kraft is a legit top 3 tight end, and he's getting paid $1.2 million this year, right? Something crazy.
Yep.
And both of these guys are under contract for 3 more years, this year and at least 2 more, right? I believe that's right. Yeah.
Two teams, 2 GMs. One is a real GM. One is somebody playing GM for a paycheck. Yep.
Yep. Jacob, what do you think about Jayden Reed, man? Again, we were kind of talking about before you got on here. There's some people that are like, oh, he's having a down. I read one tweet and it said the downfall of Jayden Reed should be studied. This is weird. It's like, what are you talking about the downfall? What are we even doing with
that kind of stems from the same vein that I talked about earlier, where it's just I've tried to stay off certain social media sites because it doesn't seem like no matter. After we did the 34-0 shutout, I saw people complaining.
It's crazy, bro.
And the Jayden Reed hate, quote unquote. Look at those numbers right there. First of all, you give him maybe and take into consideration once again that Jordan Love was not healthy the first half of the season, and I usually hate that kind of precursor to an argument, but we've seen it with Jordan Love. The guy, he's not necessarily the most mobile quarterback, but he needs to be able to move around. If you have a knee injury or a groin injury, which he suffered with, that's definitely not going to let you do Jordan Love type stuff. Everybody gets so hyped about, oh, Caleb Williams could throw across his body and the Patrick Mahomes. Here's a guy. It's like Jordan Love does every single one of those throws, and I'd argue he does them more fluently at certain points. And the fact that Jayden Reed hasn't got enough hype as just maybe being that standalone superstar in the NFL is because he's not like an Amon-Ra St. Brown. Because guess what? On the Lions, they don't have 4 to 5 different wide receivers, simply just wide receivers, let alone maybe 2 now stud tight ends. Let's add in 3 running backs that can score like very efficiently. One being Josh Jacobs, who is arguably the best running back pounder thumper that we've had in Packers memory since Amon Green. I don't want to hear that kind of talk. Exactly. The dude is just ricocheting people that try to like tackle him. Let's back off a little.
Coach Lynn said, who's the Vikings announcer that's super annoying? Everybody say it together.
Paul Allen. I hate that guy.
Yeah. We need to get that sound drop of him going, this isn't Detroit, man. This is the Super Bowl. Oh, boy.
And he smashes ahead for a 2-yard loss.
There's a video on YouTube when Brett Favre threw that interception against the Saints to knock them out of the playoffs, where someone put a montage together. It is absolutely hilarious, man. If you guys get a chance, check it out. We need to find it one day and just play the audio because, oh, my gosh, is it good. And speaking of good, the opposite of that is join the chat here. We've got Emilio here on the show. Emilio, what are you doing?
So Jaire. No, I'm kidding.
Oh, my God.
No.
No, I'm sorry I was late. And new phone transferred over. The missus got me one for Christmas. So
let's go, man.
Little issue.
You got that pink Motorola Razr, right?
Yeah.
How many times are you going to come to my press conference late?
I had the iPhone 11, so was getting it was time. Yeah, it was time.
Emilio, iPhone SE 6 version.
And what are you on? Like Windows?
Guys, you know, people pay for advertisement nowadays. We don't have to give it away.
That's fair. You're right. Milwaukee Tools again. Back to our sponsor.
Hey, Festival Foods sponsor us.
Jacob said, whatever phone that was, he said can't be tracked by the government. Anyway, go ahead, Emilio. What were we gonna say?
Nothing, man. Nothing. I'm just glad to be here. I'm excited for the game tomorrow. Good time slot. Don't have to go to Buffalo Wild Wings to watch it, and I'm ready to roll.
Let's go, man.
Yeah, our guys better wake up with their piss hot, like I said before. So.
That's right. And listen, me and Tim were planning on doing a 40-minute show because he and the wife got a little bonfire kicked up, ready to kick back and relax. So, Tim, if you want to go, you just jump off.
We're talking ball. She's fully capable. She's probably got another log on it already, handling it, stoking the fire,
Let me explain something to you.
Probably pouring another glass of wine or something,
The chances of these four guys on this screen right now pissing each other off and never talking again are pretty strong. You need to keep her happy, okay? This may not last another 2 months. Oh, there it is. Just put 2 more on. 10 more on.
Hey, see? She's got it.
Too easy.
All right. Well, if you need to step away, you don't even say bye. You just get out, all right? I want
to sit your butt outside.
I want to hit on that.
I didn't do that.
So this is cool. You guys know Josh Jacobs gave the chains out, right? Gave the charms, I should say. And Josh Myers was like, man, I've never had anything. I don't even know how to wear it. I don't know how to pull it off. It's obvious that someone helped Josh Myers out because this is clean. Oh, yeah. My man went all black, got the diamond charm with his number 71, pulled it off. I love that Wes Hawkins was the one who tweeted it out too. Josh Myers, legend. I'm telling you, there's something special happening with this team, man. It's awesome to see. It really is.
I was saying that Josh kept asking him, what do I need? What kind of chain? How long am I looking? I'm hoping he wears it under the jersey. You're not going to miss that on the field, right? So if Josh Jacobs gets in, the whole line comes out and pulls the chains out, like that would be a cool Sally. I'll take that.
Yeah. And again, we won't spend a whole lot of time on it, but I just want to point that out. Josh Myers has got a lot of criticism, and I think rightfully so. I don't think he's played good ball his time in Green Bay. I really don't. But boy, his teammates love that dude. Like, there's no two ways about that. And any guy who's willing to puke mid-play and finish the rep, he earns my respect. Obviously, he lost his father this year, too.
Yeah. Can we talk about what he's been playing through this year? I mean, having a personal loss like that. Plus, he had the illness. He had the, what was it, broken thumb or something? Or he had a wrist injury or issue. There was ankle. There was quad. This guy's always banged up. I mean, look at what he does for a living. Look at the position he's playing. There's contact every time he's on the field. And he grinds through it, man. And, good, bad, or mediocre, whatever type of game you get out of Josh Myers, you're still getting a hell of a teammate out there and great locker room guy and someone that we should be proud to have on the Packers. And, like we always say, criticize the play, not the player, right?
Yeah, definitely.
And now he's got a dab of ranch, Tim. That little bit of change just sitting right there.
All right. So we got a special guest in the chat. Forlorn Hope says number 23, no 23 equals Jets will fly skull. So, hey, good luck tomorrow, Forlorn. We're going to tell you the same thing we told this guy. I think it's still in here, I believe. Do we still have that screen grab, Tim, or did I leave it? No, that's the new one.
We already got your fast. Gotcha.
Just so you know, they're Forlorn. Love the profile pic, too. Creepy ass bird. I like it. So here's the deal. Every week we get a fan from another fan base that comes in here and says something like this. All right. And we always screen grab it. We will be here for a post-game show immediately following the game on this same channel. Okay. We will be here to say, hey, you earned it. Good job. But if you lose, do you have enough hair on your ass to come back in here and see us? That's what I want to know. Because the last half a dozen have not. All right. So we save receipts, as Greg Rice says.
Yep.
The receivos are plenty. And we'll be staring at you like this when you come back. But just know we will be here. All right. But again, as long as you keep it respectful, welcome to the chat. Appreciate you tuning in, man. Listen, I want to say this about the Vikings. The Vikings are a strong team. They are well coached. They're a tough team. Sam Darnold is an underdog story. It's a cool story. It really is. I hope they get the hell beat out of them tomorrow. With that being said, so we'll move it along. And again, welcome to the chat.
Can I say one more thing quick?
Yeah, go ahead, man.
Did you see the Aaron Jones press conference where they asked him whether or not he was having a good time? And he said, this is one of the best. And then he stopped himself. And then he went and said, this is the best time I've ever had playing football. Mm-hmm. And I'm not going to lie. It kind of hurt. It kind of felt like when I watch, like you scroll through and you're like, you see your ex got married and you're like, well, howdy doody. And, but you know,
he ain't got no traps. So we always try to think it right.
The way that he had to preface it, because he said, this is one of the best times. Then he went, oh, no, I got to be a Viking now. This is the best time ever. Like, all right, dude.
I got you. All right. For those of you listening on the pod, that's going to do it for hour 1. We will see you on the other side for hour 2. We appreciate y'all. All right, welcome to hour 2. Let's keep this show rolling here. We got a elevation, and we kind of called this one earlier today, Tim. Remember us talking about it? As Paul Brittle tweeted out, safety Omar Brown elevated for a second time with Evan Williams being out. So the big talk that we've had earlier today, guys, and I want to get your all's take. And, Tim, anything you want to add to the Omar Brown elevation, you go first. But we kind of talked about what's the secondary going to look like for this game? If Javon Bullard plays, are they going to play him in the slot and have Zane Anderson play at safety alongside, Xavier McKinney? Or are they going to put Javon Bullard to the safety position if he's back, right? And then kick Keyshawn Nixon to the slot and have Carrington and Eric Stokes on the outside. Tim, anything you want to add to the Omar Brown elevation? Then I want to know what Jacob and Emilio think about how that could potentially look.
Well, first off, Omar Brown is our, me and Jacob, we were all over this dude when we were making our drafts and our
multiple drafts.
Multiple. And he was kind of a sleeper. Really, Jacob was the one who brought him to my attention and kind of did a deep dive on his tape. I'm just wondering how often he's going to see the field and in what capacity is he really going to be out there. I see Zane Anderson as a guy that I kind of like in that opposite safety role from X. He's got the hot hand. He's proven he can play back there. He's great on some of those, buzzing down into the box moves too. I don't see him as a slot guy, so I'd rather have Bullard in the slot. But having Omar Brown gives you some freedom now, because if you did have to pull a safety and move them to the slot or something, maybe you get a guy like Omar Brown or Oladapo out there and let's get a look at how they look back there next to Xavier McKinney, So we'll see, but it definitely says something that he's been elevated for sure.
Yeah, I agree. Jacob, what do you think, man? And what kind of secondary would you like to see in terms of, with Evan Williams being out, obviously Zane Anderson before last week, I think we all would have said, hey, I don't want to see Zane Anderson on the field. Yeah. Now we're going. I want to get a Zane Anderson back out there on the field, right? Go ahead, Jacob. You get the look.
Yeah, man. I mean, how much of a pleasantly we've had many pleasant surprises this year. I would argue definitely in the secondary. Zane Anderson I did not have that on my bingo card. I don't think any of us did going in. We talked about, obviously, we were Home Depot, Kitan, Oladapo fans all the way through. You guys know how much I love Bullard. I mean, thank you, Emilio. I mean, Bullard to me, and I'll be 100% honest, Bullard has kind of underperformed as far as my expectations.
I agree.
I'll say that.
Yeah.
And you guys know I was leading the absolute crowd of Javon Bullard is going to be great for us. But that being said, for him being thrust into the NFL as a rookie and actually playing substantial snaps in the slot position, then moving from safety at certain points, I think he's done well enough where I'm not going to write him off whatsoever. If you guys remember, there was a certain gentleman a few years ago who came in, built strict talent. Some may call him a human meat missile. The name is Brenton Cox Jr. And he has certainly thick. He's progressed over a certain amount of time. Guys, what we have to think about right now is that our secondary is absolutely humming right now with a lot of rookies. A lot. Okay.
Yeah. So second year guys. Yep.
And second year guys. Exactly. So as this season progresses, I think that we all talk about Jordan Love getting hot in the back end of the season. Well, how about second year guys on the defense? Even you can talk about the D-line, the linebacker play as well. I mean, we've got some guys that are just getting hot. They're finding their style. So what do you think, Emilio?
Yeah, I would say I'm still leaning Bullard drop back and bring out Eric and Valentine. I think that I think they have more faith in the corners. Not that Zane did anything wrong, but he excelled when he got time. But looking back at the stats, yeah, he played all last week. The week before, though, he was only in for those 3 snaps at the end of the game. So I just don't think that they're going to be relying on him to play all those snaps. But I could definitely be wrong. But I wouldn't have a problem with putting Bullard back there because I just want to get him reps, as many reps as we can. He's going to be the future. He's where we're leaning on moving forward. And with Evan out, just give him everything he can. And if he's got to rotate down and then Zane comes in, like we were doing, rotating him in with Evan. Like if Zane wants to take Evan's spot, I wouldn't be completely opposed to that. But I do think that you want to drop Bullard back to where he's kind of comfy back there.
Got it. Good deal. Good deal. As we kind of look at the lineup here, we hit on it pretty heavy earlier. I don't want to spend a whole lot of time on it again, but you can kind of see the layout that PFF is showing here in terms of defensive lineup. They're going to have Zane Anderson playing opposite of Xavier McKinney. In our nickel 4-2-5, we'll have Eric Wilson playing the mock wearing the green dot. Edgerrin Cooper, who is now the 6th highest graded linebacker in the league, playing alongside of him. And we know the mock and the wheel is very interchangeable. The big thing is Eric Wilson will be on the field for every defensive snap if he's healthy with the green dot. And then, of course, on the outside, they have Carrington Valentine and Keyshawn Nixon on the outside, both grading out fairly decent at a 65.8 and a 67.7. And then Bullard in the slot there with a 53.7, obviously the lowest grade of the bunch.
Here's a question.
Would you respond to RJ? Oh, I'm sorry, Tim. Go ahead.
Oh, no, go ahead. Go ahead. Hit the comment.
Now, RJ McCready, and I look back, he is a Packer fan, so he's not trolling here. He says, in response to what I said, he said, Nixon and Stokes are liabilities and will be exposed tomorrow.
100% disagree.
I don't agree with that.
100% disagree.
Yeah.
Liability is like, get this guy off my team.
Liability is we've got to allocate more resources to his side to make sure he doesn't get exposed. Right. No one here is saying that Nixon and Carrington Valentine are Pro Bowlers. But what we're saying is they're grading out currently, and again, this is just PFF, they're grading out as the 59th and the 49th best corners in the league. What that tells you is they are legit 2 starting caliber corners. That's compared to everyone else across the league, right? So yeah, if you're saying they're liabilities, completely disagree too there, Tim. Before the year, I would have said that.
And that's what we were talking about with Stokes, right? It was like, hey, man, that's awesome. This guy might actually see the field at some point. And he had the setbacks in the lineup, out of the lineup, right? Then he comes back and it's like, all right, can you just not be a liability? Can you just not be an issue for us in this defense? And I think he's done that and maybe even a little more. You know, we talked about the improvement with the tackle grade and things with him. And, you know, even if you see him allow a completion, you know, the tackle's made right away. It doesn't turn into a, yards after the catch situation. So, and Keyshawn, as far as I'm concerned, he's a dog. So I'm not going to even entertain the thought of him being a liability in any fashion whatsoever. He makes our football team better. And I don't know what you're watching if you don't see that.
You're seeing 2 game-changing plays, really 3. Strip sack. One of the reasons that the Packers were able to come back on the Vikings and only lose by 2 points after they were getting absolutely boat raced in that first meeting. Strip sack, blitz out of the nickel spot, nickel fire with Keyshawn Nixon. This last game, strip sack, nickel fire. 2 games ago, playing the outside, playing the boundary, interception when he broke off of his curl flat responsibilities and took what would have been a hook curl responsibility, intercepted the ball. Go back 5-6 weeks ago, sprinting all the way across the field, hustle play, punching the ball out, forcing a fumble. This dude's making an impact on the defense.
How excited are you guys? Are you as excited as I am to see Carrington Valentine go up against Justin Jefferson?
I really am.
I'm tuned up for that because I got a feeling that we all know, Justin Jefferson's going to get his, right? But my question is to what extent? This could be one of those games where we get some really good cornerback play from a 7th-round, second-year guy named Carrington Valentine who's playing like a dude possessed right now. And I can't wait to see it because that's what you want to do with your young guys, right? You want to put them on the best of the best and see how they respond. So I'm looking forward to any of those matchups happening. Really am.
Yeah, and Mrs. Green came in there and said having Jacobs and Valentine on the team is a super positive influence on this team's culture. I will argue, did you guys get to show Carrington Valentine what he does when he's mic'd up?
No.
The guy said he's Jaire.
The overlords will get us in trouble.
We can't say that. All right, well, let me tell you, he's Jaire 2.0. This dude is a fun-loving, smack-talking dude that is going to get into the head of a lot of receivers, I promise you. And he backed it up. I was actually surprised at how physical he was in a lot of those altercations after he talked a lot of smack. He did.
Yeah, it was.
But
I wish we could play it. It's awesome.
Yeah.
I was
trying to get that weight up.
Yeah, you got to get that weight up.
That was funny. Did you see when he hit that when he hit that lineman too? And then the lineman was like, yeah, hey, I needed that. Thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah. My favorite thing though was when Emmanuel Wilson got the run. He went, "That boy been in my apartment. He stayed in my apartment.
Stays with me." No, and then Chris Brooks got it, and he goes, "That guy stays in my apartment. I'll drive him in. I'll drive with him."
I love it, man. I was trying to find a tweet. I thought that was it, but that was saying there was a tweet about Carrington last week, just talking about where he ranked because he had a solid game. I can't find it. I mean, I tweet way too much.
Hold up, y'all. We got to reach out to Valentine. He's got a podcast.
No way, dude.
Yeah, he's got it.
Let's come on.
You guys are late for that party, man.
He's got a YouTube channel, but he hasn't put anything up lately because he's in season.
He's a little busy. He's got another day job.
We got to get somebody to reach out.
Yeah.
Come on.
I think he started it back, after OTAs or before OTAs or something.
Yeah.
Heck yeah, we gotta check that out, man, because he's a spark plug. There's no two ways about it, man. I love Carrington Valentine. For sure. Let's see here. Romero Hill. Good to see you in here, buddy. He says, salute, fellas. Glad to see all four again. Oh, something happened.
Sorry.
He says, glad to see all four again. Question, do we still have Kalen King on our practice squad? Yes, sir, we do, right? Unless I missed something. Kalen King is still on our practice squad. So, again, 7th round pick, didn't quite make the roster. A dude that was highly touted the year before. Emilio, we talked about this. He was one of, if not the top corners, ending the year going into his final year in college. He was projected as the top corner in the draft. Now, obviously, had a drop off there, but I think you'll probably see Kalen King next year. Is what I think. I think he'll.
There's something to be said about us being a little thin at corner right now, and him not getting moved up. Right. Mm-hmm. Obviously, it tells us how the staff feels about Eric Stokes and Keyshawn Nixon and Carrington Valentine and Corey Valentine. So I don't know, but I think you're right. I think we're just a year off, right? Like everybody develops at their own rate. So
I think secondary wise, they have more faith in the safeties than they do in the corners. Not that the corners are bad, but I feel like the bus stops at Eric Stokes for corners. Robert Rochelle will get sprinkled in, or Valentine will get sprinkled in, but I think it's Kalen King could be our next Valentine. 7th round pick, late round, didn't get a lot of shots, then got thrown in, could be thrown in next year. We never know what the offseason is going to take, but he should definitely be around. I think he's going to be a good shot.
Yeah, I think so too. All right, let's move it along here. Holmes says, who is Omar Brown? Never heard of the guy. Man, Omar Brown's a legend, dude.
Nebraska, baby.
He was just me
Nebraska,
and Tim,
right?
Yeah, Nebraska. Yeah. He was just one of those guys that had a high RAS, and when you watched him on film, prototypical type like speed, and he just was kind of one of those guys that can play in coverage but also come up and thump in the run. I think was one of his bigger capabilities, if I'm not mistaken. I remember that he was kind of more of a thumper, which being a Big Ten safety, you kind of have to be. So I'm excited. It is crazy to think about the fact that we got guys like Omar Brown, Katana Oladapo, and dudes like Zane Anderson taking up. And I love Evan Williams. I really do. He's raw. He makes mistakes, but the way that he plays, I think that he is probably going to be one of our best players going forward.
Yeah, I can see that too.
And you remember Carrington getting all excited when Catan got on. KT!
Yeah.
KT! I'm excited, man. That secondary is deep in the safety room. I think we were just off base pulling corners in the first round last year. So I can't wait to see how off base we're going to be this year. We need corners again.
Yeah. And again, going back to the Matt LaFleur talk earlier, I think we hit on this. I can't remember if we did or not, guys. Just in case we didn't, I definitely want to. We were supposed to show this earlier in the week. So Matt LaFleur, I said more rare air for Matt LaFleur. Game number 99 this weekend. All right. And this was on December 26th. So we're talking about the game coming up, right? Most wins in the first 100 games as a head coach, the last 40 seasons. George Seifert had 78 wins. You guys know George Seifert took over for Bill Walsh, had that dynasty completely built, stepped right in and continued on the greatness. Mike Holmgren, 68 wins in his first 100 games. Matt LaFleur is third all-time in the last 40 years with 67 wins in his first 100 games. That is tied with Bill Cowher and another man you may have heard of named Andy Reid. Wild to think about there. So, again, man, Matt LaFleur is just he's an absolute dog. There's no two ways about it. So, anything else you guys want to hit on specifically? We can jump into the NFL Pro insights if you want to. What do you guys think? Is there a topic you guys want to hit on before we jump into that?
You guys got anything special?
I mean, just
I'll just
a
keep
little
talking about the defense all night if we don't.
I mean, honestly, Tim, what are your thoughts? I mean, the Matt LaFleur lack of respect is just starting to become palpable to the point where, like, you can't blame it on Aaron Rodgers. You can't say that it's because he's in the shadow of Vince Lombardi and Mike Holmgren and Mike McCarthy and all these different things. They all seem to keep making excuses and excuses and excuses, but the guy gets absolutely. I haven't seen him on a list for being top coach
Never
for
is.
the last 5 years. Not even in the top 5. How is that possible?
And Matt LaFleur, he's over here. So you're saying Matt LaFleur can hit 69 at 100 games? Nice.
69.
So, I mean, that's we can't turn that away, man. We really are lucky the fact that, you're winning basically 70% of your games.
It's crazy.
How can you be upset about it?
The youngest team in the league 2 years in a row. Are you insane? Taking over a quarterback that's the first-year starter that had all the drama in the world. Like, how?
Mm-hmm. What do they remember? Were they talking like this at the beginning of Mike Holmgren's career? I mean, is that where they were at? I mean, I think just everybody wants to scream a lot today. That's just the problem.
That's exactly right.
I think it's great. It's a great example of facts don't care about your feelings, right? I mean, the facts are the facts. Look at the numbers. Look what we're doing. They can sleep now, man. The respect's going to come later when we're bringing Lombardi home. That's all I'll say. We'll get it done. It's going to happen.
Greg's got a good point. They hate us because they ain't us.
I like the accent, so you crushed it. And again, when you look at Matt LaFleur all time here, just in case anybody was wondering, where's he at now on the win-loss percentage? He is currently tied for 8th with Ray Flaherty.
Good Lord.
The only coaches above him, and Matt LaFleur has a .684 winning percentage. Above him is Ray Flaherty. They're tied. Blanton Collier, Tommy Hewitt, damn right. Nick Sirianni is another one that I don't think he gets the respect he should. I mean, that dude is .697 winning percentage. What else do you expect your head coach to do? George Allen at .712, Vince Lombardi at .738, John Madden at .759, and Guy Chamberlain at .784. And it's worth mentioning that Nick Sirianni's only coached in 66 games.
Yes.
Tommy Hewitt, back from 1920 to 24, only coached in 56 games. So if you were to do, let's say it's 100 game minimum, right, which Matt LaFleur is going to surpass here soon, then you would really jump him up to what would that be, 2 spots? So he would be 7th? No, he'd be 6th all-time winning percentage of coaches with at least 100 games coached in current winning.
Probably be top 5 if he gets a win or 2, gets past Flaherty there. That's crazy. That's crazy to think. Top 5 and over 100 games coached. That's consistency too. I mean, we talk about PFF consistency, game over game, year after year, what he's built. You go back and watch some of those early press conferences. I'm glad we have Tupac now instead of fresh and
no more aw shucks, Matt. We got Tupac LaFleur, Matt, now. I love it.
Exactly right, man. 3 long darts and an attitude to go with it. You know what I'm saying? Ain't playing no games. All right, let's see. Let's go into NFL Pro real quick and just see. I like looking at these from next gen stats. It just kind of gives you some key insights into the game and get you thinking a little bit outside of the box. And I couldn't tell you how many times me and Tim have done this year, and there's been something pop up that we go, "Whoa, didn't know that!" Right?
Yep.
So let's see if I can zoom in. I don't know if it'll let me.
Yeah, this Pro is awesome, man.
Yeah, it's freaking unbelievable. Let's start with just a team overview real quick. We're going to be very fast with this. I'll go full screen to make it a little easier here. So Packers offense against the Vikings defense. All right. The Packers offense and overall passing efficiency is 5th. The Vikings defense is 6th. They give a slight advantage to the Vikings. All right. Overall rushing efficiency. The Packers offense is 7th. The Vikings run defense is 1st, according to NFL Pro. That's a 2-star advantage for the Vikings. Pressure rate. The Packers offense and handling, 9th best. The Vikings defense, 8th best. They're going to say it's too close to call, no advantage. So when it comes to the Packers offense against the Vikings defense, you get a slight advantage, a 1-star advantage and a 2-star advantage to going to the Vikings defense. Now, when you go to the Vikings offense against the Packers defense, overall passing efficiency, the Vikings offense is 8th. Packers defense is 2nd. That's a 3-star advantage for the Packers. Rushing defense, overall rushing efficiency, the Vikings offense is 25th. Again, I love Aaron Jones. Josh Jacobs has been an upgrade. There's no two ways about it. They're 25th in rushing efficiency, the Vikings are. The Packers' rush defense, 9th. 3-star advantage goes to the Packers' run defense. Vikings offense and pressure rate, 29th. Packers defense, 24th. 2-star advantage to the Packers. So when you look at these 6 different categories, right? The Packers are leading in 3 of them. The Vikings are leading in 2 of them, and 1 of them is no advantage. That would suggest the Packers have the slight edge here, according to NFL Pro. And again, it doesn't mean it's everything. I think it's worth mentioning, though. Any comments on that right there?
Yeah, I think that we're kind of lucky that the defense really has toned it down. I think that it's going to put us in a better position starting this game, and as long as that offense comes out hot, I think we're in a good shape. It's a little bit tighter over there on Minnesota's side, so I honestly think if the offense can stay on the field a little bit longer, put some points up, that defense can play fast, physical, and only be on the field for 50, 60 plays and get out of there instead of dragging it out 80 plays.
So are you with me, Emilio? Are you with go ahead and take the ball and put the offense out there first?
I think Tim, I think if that's what you said, I think Matt's definitely going to take the ball. If we win the toss, I think they're going to take it and try to shove it right down the field.
Go down there,
Me,
6,
sir.
7, 8 plays, put a tutter on the board, go up 7-0. Normally, I'm always in agreement with Clayton. Normally, I'm like, dude, defer. Take the ball in the second half, win the middle 8, try and double dip if you can. But I honestly think this game against this team, the way this matchup is looking, I want my offense on the field first.
And I want to pat you on the butt when you poop my hand. So,
yep, Matt's going to crack that whip first play.
What do you guys think about this? You take the ball.
Matt's going to crack that whip. You mean that belt?
Hey.
Absolutely. You take that ball, Tim. You run Josh Jacobs, which we have been doing almost more in the first quarter, if I'm not mistaken, than any other running back. You set the tone with him. You pepper in quite a bit of Jayden Reed at the slot position, which I believe – did y'all talk about that? How the Vikings defense, I believe, is like 29th in defending against the slot. Jayden Reed has something about like the second yards in the league from the slot position this year. Do that, and then just top it off with a nice sprinkle of Tuck Norris coming in. You heard it from a fan right here. Get Jacobs out of there by halftime, pepper in Emmanuel and a little bit of Chris Brooks, and we'll just be sipping coconuts, watching, everything else fall. Sipping, I'm telling you, dude, we'll be sitting, put our legs up, just watching everybody else dance around. We'll be fine going in.
Can we pull it back up?
Off the screen.
Jacob, have you seen this guy yet? We need to get him on the pod, man.
I thought that was a picture of me.
You know who he is, Jacob. Have you ever seen this guy?
Sponsored by Michelin.
Is that my dad? No.
I keep talking about the nipple to row ratio. It's not normal.
Well, to be fair, though, if you look underneath, I wish I had the John Madden teleprompter.
His torso looks like SpongeBob.
You'll see right below there that the gate is holding up that gut.
He rambled, but he rumbled and stumbled.
See, now that gut's pushing up there, so it's creating an illusion of more of a six-pack than there is. So you have to take away that lower bar.
There's definitely more than a six-pack in there, I'll tell you that.
That's a full keg, Tim.
He can block. I bet he could block.
All right, let's get back to the serious stuff here. We're losing viewers by the second. That's the way that works. The show officially stops. All right, keep an eye on the chat too in case we get a super chat. I have not even looked. So, and Christian did confirm that was him at the game. So, hey, congratulations.
Snap! Sorry.
Let's shade in the summer, warmth in the winter, baby. You know what I'm saying? All right, so Packers, Matt LaFleur, 67 wins, tied Hall of Famer Bill Cowher and Andy Reid for the third most wins by any head coach in their first 100 games over the last 40 years. We kind of talked about that. It says Week 17 against the Vikings will be LaFleur's 99th game as the Packers head coach. So, again, we hit on that. We won't rehash it. I think it's awesome that he's getting that national notoriety here on NFL Pro. It's where many people probably got the information, to be honest with you, and then put the screen grab together and all that good stuff. So I'm glad that it's getting circulated for sure. Sam Darnold has a career-high 13 wins, 32 passing touchdowns, and a 105.4 passer rating this season. Darnold had 10 wins and 26 passing touchdowns total as a starter from 2020 to 2023 and 30 starts. That is wild. So listen, KOC can coach up the QBs, boys. There's no two ways about it. We talked about it. Sam Darnold is really good against the rush. Yep. So this is that game. We hit on it, Tim. 4-man rush, get exotic with the front, and always just bring 4. Make sure you're dropping 7 into coverage. Make him think. Make him read pre-snap. Make him read post-snap. And, again, don't get too crazy over blitzing and giving him those easy outlets, because the reality is Jordan Addison and Justin Jefferson, along with T.J. Hawkinson, they are as smart of a receiving core as you're going to find in the league. You throw in Aaron Jones out of the backfield too. Sam Darnold will find the hot read, and those 4 targets are veterans that will be able to find the weak spots in that blitz to give him that hot read.
It's so true. As much talk as we've made, the past few days of the secondary and the linebacking, I think defensively this game's going to come down to our front. It's going to come down to how this D-line plays and handles their business, because if we can find a way to keep Darnold in the pocket and we can get pressure with 4, it gives us a way, way better chance of beating this Vikings team for sure.
No, agreed. All right, Packers offense. The Packers have scored 30-plus points in 5 consecutive games. I'm going to say that again. The Green Bay Packers have scored 30 or more points in 5 straight games. This is the longest active streak in the NFL and the second longest single season streak in franchise history. 7 games was the record in 1963 under one Vince Lombardi. So belt to ass season is in full effect.
Yeah, we are now naming this show BTA Live. Belt to ass.
Oh, we need to have a BTA segment, don't we?
Yeah.
Just show Matt LaFleur with his most creative play call of the week or something.
Yeah, I like it. Yeah.
Yep. I like that.
The we'll top green leather play call of the week. I love it.
We'll have Walmart's belt section sponsor the show. Yeah. Emilio, how many Walmart belts you got in that house?
I got a lot. I ripped through them.
I think I got a couple belts older than Emilio in my house.
See?
Exactly. All right. Next, Vikings offense and the Packers defense. The Vikings offense has faced cloud coverage, which is cover 2 plus cover 6, on 30.8% of their pass plays this season, the second highest rate in the NFL, trailing only the Dolphins at 36%. Due in part to how often their opponents have played cloud coverage, Justin Jefferson leads the NFL with 436 such receiving yards while averaging 2.8 yards per route, the second most among receivers with at least 100 such routes. Matchup: the Packers have played cloud coverage on a league-high 38.1% of dropbacks this season, the 5th highest rate by any defense in a season since at least 2018. In Week 4 against the Packers, Jefferson caught his only target on 10 routes run versus cloud coverage for 5 yards. So keep that in mind. Cloud coverage in full effect there. And again, when we talk about the 2 plus the 6, it's going to be really, really interesting. And when you talk in cloud out of the cover 3, which we like to play a lot of cloud out of 3, it simply means that when you're in cloud, the safety is going to play deep third, the corner is going to play a curl flat, and the backer is going to play a hook curl, as you can see on the far right diagram. It's much different than like a cover 3 buzz, which was Pete Carroll's bread and butter. The safety buzzes down to a hook curl in the middle. The linebacker covers the curl flat, and the corner covers the deep third. And then with Sky, the safety comes all the way down to the curl flat, and the backer plays the hook curl while the corner plays the deep third. What cloud allows you to do is those corners to play very, very aggressive at jumping routes underneath with the eyes on the quarterback when you're playing that cloud flat. So going to be really, really interesting to see how Justin Jefferson plays in this game. And again, when we talked about Carrington Valentine and him, let's see if he can step up and cover Justin Jefferson. In no way, shape, or form is the defense, and I know Tim wasn't saying this, and I'm not saying this, they're not going to call a defense where Carrington Valentine follows Justin Jefferson around the field.
No.
We're simply saying when it ends up being 24 versus Justin Jefferson, I'm excited about watching that matchup, man. I really am.
Absolutely.
Because you remember New Year's Eve last year, Tim, we talked about that. Corey Ballantyne shut his ass down in this league last year.
Yes.
Really.
And if something crazy did happen, right, like if Bullard had a setback and we got to put Keyshawn back into the slot, you're really going to see a lot of Carrington Valentine handling Justin Jefferson then at that point.
No, definitely. I like what Greg Rice says here. Thank y'all for marking that. The Josh Jacobs stiff arm and the Honey Badger, that's the belt to ass play, right? That's what we need. We need a belt to ass play of the week. And yeah, I love that he's got a tear rolling down his cheek. Pull that back up. This is going to hurt
Put
me.
Larry's comment up there too.
This is going to hurt me more than it hurts you. Let's see, where's Larry? Oh, here we go. Larry says 2 rows. Whoa. I don't know, but hold up a minute. We sure?
He's got the double belt loop.
Okay, I thought he was talking about something else. Larry, I was like, my goodness. 2 rows of holes in that belt for less wind resistance on the way to the ass. That's great, Larry. Great. Yeah, man, I was like, Larry in the sauce this season. There you go. That's awesome. Good. Hey, it's just like the old paddles. Did anybody in here other than me
Yes.
go to school when you got paddled?
Yes.
Bro, that was a real thing. These kids these days, Emilio, you never got to experience that, did you?
No.
Negative. I've seen them hung up on walls and stuff, and they were like, just praised. You can't go back to those days, but man.
Boy, hey, let me tell you something, boy. Tim, you thought twice, did you not, my friend?
Oh yeah.
You thought twice. They would
ask my mom about the ping pong paddle she used to keep hanging up in the hallway closet, and I used to scratch my head and wonder why we had one because we never had a ping pong table.
It's like, why is there holes drilled in that ping pong paddle? I don't get it.
Dude,
less wind resistance.
I used to get the wooden spoon. You know what's worse though was the plastic spoon. It's got a lot of snap.
Oh.
And I tell you, if I would have went to school nowadays with the hilts that you had back in the day.
Oh, yeah.
CPS coming to your house real quick. Plus, just another thing. Back in the day, did y'all have Senior Haze Day? That was the worst, bro.
Yeah, I don't think they do that
like
anymore.
even the cops are like, "Do good, try to run," and I'm like, "All right."
Exactly right, man. Exactly right. And again, Mr. Larry was talking about the holes in the belt. He wasn't talking about.
Yeah.
He wasn't talking about the Oval Office. Everybody, calm down. All right.
Easy, P. Diddy.
Greg Rice said, wasn't I told this was going to be a short show? I feel misled. Hey, Greg.
As long as we didn't put it in the title, we're good.
Yeah, exactly. When these two knuckleheads jumped on here with us, I looked at Tim like, Tim, get out of here while you can. We're going to be here. All right, this is going to happen. So, all right, let's move it along here. We should have some other insights. Where are we at? Key advantages. We got some of those. Where are the insights? Here we go. These are cool. And we may have already hit on a couple, and I think we did. Usually they extend them a little bit further. So we ended there. Here we go. Go ahead and read any comments you got there, man. Read it.
No, they're just
none of them have anything to do with football.
They're just retracing people's trauma. Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, I thank the good Lord above for the butt whoopings I got. I'm telling you, they made me a better person. And I know that's a hot take in 2024. I don't care. I'm scared to think of where I would be without those ass whoopings. I'm just being real.
Yep.
All right, Packers-Vikings. The Packers-Vikings matchup will be the first time in 127 regular season games, including Week 17, that both the Packers and Vikings enter the game with 11-plus wins. I did not know that.
Cool. That's pretty cool to see.
That is 127 regular season games since the Packers and the Vikings enter the game with 11-plus wins. That's
what's that? It's got to be over 60 years, 2 times a year, 120. That's got to be 63 years probably. That's wild.
Now we got super chats coming in with people like it's a like it's a therapy session, right? Hardy the Prophet said, "No, but my grandma used to beat my ass with a 5-foot whip."
Oh, wow, Granny coming in like bam.
That thing probably cracked. I bet Hardy still hears that crack.
We got our first snort.
Oh,
not that kind of snort. This isn't the Oval Office again. It was a laugh snort. All right, calm down here. And that was snow on Edgerrin Cooper's jersey there too. Okay, everybody be patient.
Greg just says, "Yeah, you won."
Yeah, Hardy, you go. All right, next insight here, Jonathan Greener. I don't know if you guys have looked into him. Outside linebacker in Minnesota. He's a dog, man. 10 different Vikings defenders have generated 5 or more quick pressures under 2.5 seconds this season, tied for the most in the NFL with the Buccaneers. It said leading the way is off-season free agent acquisition, Jonathan Greener. I think he came from – did he come from Houston, Emilio? Am I thinking right, man? I think he came from Houston. I could be wrong there.
I thought he did, and apparently he goes by Grenard. It's not Greenard. It's Grenard.
Well, we don't respect people's names who wear purple around here, Jeff. We'll call them what I want to call them. You understand me?
Absolutely.
Yeah. If it is Grenard, I appreciate you correcting that. Again, he's a dog, man. He's going to be one of those Tuesday players we talk about. You got to make sure he's blocked up. You got to. Next one, Josh Jacobs versus the Vikings defense.
Yeah, my bad, Clayton. Houston did draft him in the 3rd round.
Okay, right. I was thinking he was one of the guys we had our eyes on. I remember specifically Michael Lombardi talking about as soon as they signed him on his podcast, he was like, "Man, that's a great pickup."
Yeah.
And I kind of rolled my eyes. I'm like, "Is he really that good?" He was.
Right.
Lombardi crushed it. Josh Jacobs versus the Vikings defense. Josh Jacobs has forced 44 missed tackles over his last 6 seasons. Over his last 6 games, not seasons. That would have been horrible. Tackles over his last 6 games. 4 more than the next closest player since week 11. On the season, Josh Jacobs has forced 92 missed tackles, tied for 2nd most in the NFL, along with Derrick Henry. Matchup. The Vikings defense has recorded the 3rd lowest missed tackle rate at 10% since week 11. Only the Packers at 9.5% and the Cowboys at 9.9% have missed tackles at a lower rate over that time frame. What you're going to get are 2 defenses that are really, really, really fundamentally sound at tackling the ball carrier. I think Josh Jacobs is going to be up for the challenge, though, boys. I really do. Yep. Sam Darnold and Jordan Love. This is the last one we'll hit on, and we'll get Tim out there before she serves in the papers. Sam Darnold completed all 6 of his passes against the blitz for 89 yards and a touchdown, 14.8 yards per attempt, while Jordan Love completed 16 of 25 passes against the blitz for 157 yards, a touchdown, and 2 of his 3 total interceptions, 6.3 yards per attempt in week 4. Love was blitzed on 46.4% of his dropbacks, which ranks as his 2nd highest blitz rate faced game this season. Keep in mind, we talked about this, he was coming off of that injury. That was his 1st game back from that knee injury. Brace, limping around the whole game.
Yep.
Whole different ball this time.
And we asked him to throw the ball 54 times that game.
Jesus.
And we were so pissed, were we not?
Yeah.
And again, you made a lot of mistakes, both offensively and defensively, to put yourself in a position where you had to throw the ball to a certain extent. But still, it's like, man, we got to stop. We got to stop abandoning the run that early. We really do.
That was really probably the game that started the trend, right? Started the ball rolling, where I think Matt LaFleur and the boys kind of huddled up and they said, "Man, we got to run the damn ball. Like, we can't play football this way. We've got a killer top tier smash mouth running back, and we've got great supporting cast. We got to pound the rock." And ever since we made that commitment, we started running the ball on 1st downs. We started to get hot, and we're still rolling. So let's not reinvent the wheel here.
Did y'all see that stat that the resident awesome statistician Dara, I believe our Irish brethren, showed that that Jordan Love is having one of the statistically, if not the best years right now of avoiding sacks, especially in the last half of the season, to a point where you did. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'll reread it again real quick so you know exactly what he said here. If I could find it. I know I had it earlier. Here we go. Jordan Love is having the single best season of avoiding sacks in recorded NFL history. Only 7.7 of the pressures on the Packers quarterback result in a sack. That has not been done before, probably won't be done ever again.
That's crazy.
That's insane.
That's because we got O linemen like this guy right here.
Right. The nipple to row ratio. All right. Anything else we want to hit on, boys? I think we saved Tim's marriage just in time. Let's get out of it. Amelia, you got anything, man?
That body right there is built, not bought. Okay, that's not something you can just go pluck off the shelf. All right.
It is built. By the way, we went to Blue
just like our O-line, built, not bought.
Speaking of building a body like that, we went to Blue Moose today.
Ooh.
And I got 25 wings. Got about 18 of those left for tomorrow.
I was gonna say,
I was like, did you down 18 of them? No, I got 18 left for tomorrow. I was setting up.
We got them primed. We're going to throw them in the air fryer tomorrow, then hit them with some more sauce. Ball game.
All right. I'm not sure if I'm more happy that you have more left or that you only ate 6. Is that what you said?
Yeah, it was something like 6, something like that.
Cheese curds make my stomach hurt all the time, but I do eat them though.
That must have been what he ate before he got to the.
You didn't hear the part where there were potato skins on the table. Too.
There it is.
Okay. All right.
And may or may not have helped Mandy eat a couple things. So. Anything else, boys? We good?
Go Pack, go, baby.
Good.
What time are we going live tomorrow, boys?
Tim, what time?
2 p.m. Central. Should
2
take us
p.m.
just before kickoff, right?
All right.
If Tim wasn't here, I would be lost, man.
3:25 Central Time kickoff, so 2 p.m. Central. Let's do it.
John in the chat
Do
says,
it live.
John says, great show, guys. Sorry somebody lied to you, John, but we appreciate the kind words.
What did Chris say?
Christine, quit showing my physique.
And Greg confirmed me. His gut is over the handrail. You guys are making, yeah. So
That's body by biscuits right there.
I just immediately think of a Christmas story and go, stuck. When his tongue got stuck to the pole. You know there was some precipitation on that gut right there, boys. Just saying.
All right.
That's it. This show sucks. We're out. I ain't saying anything.
And we go.
We're out. Bye, guys.